From timeless skies to the quiet within, a gentle call invites us into the presence of the divine. The puppet masters who have spent their lives honing the art of shattering souls are sitting in their boardrooms and basement meetings, scratching their heads in complete confusion. Because you, chosen one, snapped and seized the victory so thoroughly, so devastatingly, so unquestionably. What made someone so impervious to everything that has affected everyone else? Their system wasn't only broken by your win. It completely upended their conception of how power functions in this world. You see, chosen one, you were busy honing your spirit while others were busy honing their weapons. You were refining your objective while they were honing their manipulation techniques. They studied wounding, dominating, and controlling for decades. They never expected, however, that someone with a completely different frequency, like you, would emerge. Their tools were made for regular individuals with regular lives and routine decisions. However, you were never normal in the first place. You're entering a victory that took time to achieve. For years, perhaps even lifetimes, this has been developing. Every trap they placed, every hurdle they put in your way, and every plan they devised all backfired horribly. Not because you're fortunate, but rather because you're shielded by something they can't comprehend, control, or even defeat. Divine immunity is more than a theory. It's the reality you live in. Your armor was created in light, whereas their weapons were forged in darkness. The meticulous nature of their approach is remarkable. They researched you, looked at your trends, and determined what they believed to be your areas of weakness. They used heavy weapons, such as financial pressure methods aimed to drive you into desperation, isolation procedures meant to cut you off from your support networks, and gaslighting operations meant to make you doubt your own reality. They used psychological warfare techniques, reputation destruction operations, and character assassination tactics that had been successful on their prior targets. However, an extraordinary event occurred that left their so-called experts stunned, confused their algorithms, and damaged their computers. You didn't simply escape their assaults. During them, you flourished. It felt like every weapon they threw at you bounced back and struck them. They were ensnared in their own snare by every trap they set. In some way, every lie they told about you exposed their own reality. It was as though the cosmos itself had erected a cosmic barrier around you that they were unable to get past, comprehend, or even get past. Consider it. How many times have you been the target of their typical tricks? You immediately repelled the gaslighting that causes people to doubt their sanity. You become stronger in your solitude as a result of the isolation tactics that undermine the confidence of most individuals. Others would somehow turn the financial sabotage into unanticipated possibilities. The social exile that shatters hearts and souls turned out to be the exact place you needed to find your true self. You're playing a completely different game, which is why every single tactic in their playbook failed. They neglected to manage their own race because they were too preoccupied with organizing their attacks, measuring their equipment, calibrating their psychological weapons, and planning your doom. Right now, choose to step out. Hit super thanks and sow $20, $50, or more to put God first and help this message reach those who need hope. Thank you for standing with this ministry. You're an answer to someone's prayer. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6. You're running a marathon, breathing steadily, keeping your pace, and concentrating on crossing the finish line. Look ahead. In the meantime, your rivals have given up sprinting entirely since they are so focused on tripping you. They are squatting on the sidelines, planning, scheming, and laying traps and hurdles. Then all of a sudden, they look up to find you smiling and feeling victorious as you cross the finish line. You were completely unaware that it was a competition. You were simply walking down your route, listening to your inner guidance system, and being true to your goal. You saved your energy for the things that truly mattered, while they spent all of their energy on manipulation and hatred. You played chess, and they played checkers. More precisely, though, they played games while you lived your life as it was. That genuineness turned into your greatest strength, your covert weapon, and your greatest edge. This is the point at which a number of cosmic occurrences begin to coincide, forming a perfect storm of divine justice that will soon alter the course of history. The big migration that is taking place in your personal realm comes first. Second, your extended network is experiencing a spiritual awakening. Third, a universal system of rewards is about to pour plenty of abundance into your life. Fourth, you are in a position to lead others to success as a result of a leadership emergence. These are all occurring simultaneously, and they are all related to your victory over their unsuccessful tactics. The Exodus is now coming. Have you ever had the feeling that some people have just disappeared from your life? No last debates, no dramatic confrontations, and no closure talks. They just vanished. These weren't random occurrences or organic separations. Those who ultimately realized they were outmatched made their calculated withdrawals. Their wasted potential, misguided priorities, and empty successes based on the suffering of others were all reflected in your very existence. The Exodus, however, is not arbitrary. There's a pattern, a supernatural intelligence at work that eliminates particular kinds of people for particular reasons at particular times. Those who made no effort to conceal their animosity were the first wave of clear foes. When they saw that their attacks were strengthening you rather than weakening you, they left. The fair-weather buddies, who were only present when things were going well, made up the second wave. When they realized that you were staying calm and focused in spite of the pandemonium all around you, they left. In the third wave, which may surprise you, some of the people you believed to be closest to you left because they deeply understood that they couldn't advance to your new level, not because they were malicious. There's some of them going through what can only be called spiritual breakdowns. Their entire identity was based on their capacity to dominate, control, and influence other people. Their ability to get others to dance to their music was a measure of their value. You wouldn't dance, though. You wouldn't shatter. You wouldn't bow. Additionally, you exposed their actual helplessness by refusing to be subdued. They came to understand that all of their apparent power was a delusion that only those who believed in it could use. Losing isn't the only reason for leaving. It's about waking up. Your triumph is making others reevaluate their strategies, their intentions, and their innermost selves. Some people are experiencing both literal and metaphorical come-to-Jesus situations. Is this really what I want to pass down to my children? Is this the legacy I want to leave? Is this who I actually am, or just who I became in response to my own pain? Is the question they ask themselves as they examine the tools at their disposal, the manipulation, the lies, the schemes. This realization is catching on like wildfire through networks you aren't even aware you're connected to. Yellow heart if you're moved by divine love. Now is the moment to share it. Click the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contribute $50 or more to help us broadcast God's blessings far and wide. Every act of generosity you make is being watched in heaven and will return to you 100-fold. After hearing about your achievement, several CEOs are doubting their ruthless strategies in boardrooms. In certain family systems, someone watched your example and made a different decision, breaking generational traditions of manipulation. The traditional methods of doing things are being questioned in whole communities. Your light was so strong that it showed how gloomy everything had gotten. Your victory is causing unimaginable repercussions. Because of your example, people in your extended network, some of whom you have never ever met, are altering their behavior. They're seeing that there are alternative ways to live, achieve success, and find joy that don't include demeaning other people. Your light is so powerful that it's illuminating paths for others who were unaware they were stranded in darkness. Recall all of the hardships, challenges, and trials that seemed to follow you around. The heartbreaks were like training for the Olympics of heartache. The failures that left you questioning whether you were cursed. The difficulties that appeared to be created especially to shatter your spirit have all been removed from your life experience. The world decided it was time to graduate you to a whole other curriculum after reviewing your report card and noticing that you had aced every test. You are now enrolled in lessons about thriving rather than survival. You're attending a lot of master classes instead of endurance workshops. Even you may feel confused by how easily things are starting to flow because of the cosmic change. This shift goes beyond philosophy. It is unavoidably manifesting itself in concrete, quantifiable ways. Affluence isn't just happening. It's pouring in like a torrent. The gradual stream of hard-won accomplishment is not this. For everything you've been through, this is the overpowering surge of global compensation. All the times you questioned if it was worthwhile to act morally, if it would ever be profitable to uphold your morals, if it was foolish to uphold your morals in a society that encourages corruption. Through your finances, prospects, relationships, and situation, the universe is giving you a loud yes. Your whole social network is evolving. Your frequency is now used by the new persons in your life. They complement your objective, match your enthusiasm, recognize your depth, and speak your language. These are not chance meetings. These are divine appointments, well-planned alliances that will help you in the next stage of your path. Every discussion seems purposeful. Every conversation seems intentional. Every partnership seems to be genuinely enriching your life. Your triumph has made you eligible for a position that you were always meant to have, but never applied for. You're turning into a pathfinder, a way shower, and a real-life example of what may happen when someone chooses to be the light rather than submit to the darkness. Titles, positions, or official authority are not necessary for the type of leadership you are entering. It's the leadership of setting an example, the leadership of vitality, the leadership of staying so true to your truth that people are compelled to follow suit. People follow you because they can see where you've been and they want the same freedom, calm, and unwavering confidence in their own journey, not because you're directing them where to go. You helped other people win their races while you were winning yours. You allowed others to refuse to be broken by refusing to be broken yourself. Others were moved to remove their masks by your dedication to genuineness. Your resolve to pursue your goals in spite of the challenges demonstrated to others that having a purpose is achievable even when faced with resistance. This explains why their weapons against you were so wildly ineffective. They were utilizing instruments made for those who had lost sight of their spiritual essence, those who have come to terms with their limitations, those who believe that scarcity is a permanent state. Despite all of the indoctrination, programming, and attempts to minimize you, you never lost sight of who you were. Your spiritual immune system quickly identified their toxicity and produced antibodies that strengthened you in addition to providing protection. Your intuitive skills, which led you all the way, weren't a coincidence or an accident. They were downloaded. You are being infused with divine understanding, cosmic GPS that points you in the direction of your destination and away from their traps. You were getting real-time updates from the cosmos itself while they were consulting their old playbooks. You were acting from a wisdom that is timeless, whereas they were depending on manipulation techniques that were effective in the past. You developed your spiritual muscles each time you overcame their gaslighting by following your instincts. Your spiritual connection grew each time you decided to follow your own path instead of giving in to their pressure. You showed mastery that years of spiritual study could not have imparted to you each time you remained calm in the face of their pandemonium. You get the ability to distinguish the sound of their lies from the voice of truth, and you're practically untouchable from now on just because of that skill. All of these disparate occurrences are finally coming together to form a single, glorious crescendo of triumph. The individuals who should have been in your life have made room for those who are no longer there. New patterns that uplift you have replaced the old ones that broke down. The difficulties that were resolved have become assets that empower not only you, but also everyone you come into contact with. Your foe's perplexity has given way to an understanding of your actual character and mission. Take a time to appreciate the enormity of your achievement as you stand in the winner's circle, the trophy finally in your hands, and confetti falling all around you. This was more than a one-off triumph. For everyone who has ever been told they are not good enough, this was a win. Your success is evidence that the weak will indeed inherit the earth, that good will triumph over evil, that love will triumph over fear, and that truth will triumph over lies, not in a theoretical or final sense, but in tangible, real-time ways that can be measured, celebrated, and shared as testimony for others still fighting their battles. This is for everyone who has ever felt that their dreams were too big, for everyone who has ever been punished for being authentic, or for being punished for being honest. There's more to winning a championship than simply finishing first. It involves entering a new realm of life, where you are playing offensive with your own goals, rather than defense against those of others. Your refusal to play by their rules has fundamentally altered the terms of the game. As you begin this new chapter, the life of a champion, keep in mind that all you have gone through thus far has prepared you for everything you are about to go through. You become stronger as a result of the difficulties. You gained wisdom from the challenges. The resistance strengthened your resolve, and you were more thankful for the triumph than you could have been without the trip. They can't keep the awakening you sparked from spreading too quickly. The abundance that you are experiencing is spilling over into other people's life. A new generation of real soldiers is being inspired by the leadership you are exhibiting. Generational traumas are being healed, and new opportunities for connection are being created by the love you're attracting. It is now evident that these seemingly disparate components are all a part of a single, wonderful design. Dove brothers and sisters, everything done in faith multiplies in God's abundance. Use the Super Thanks feature to donate $100 today and join this sacred mission. When your roots are grounded in Him, your fruit will flourish, and your offering becomes a seed that bears blessed harvests. Those who are still baffled and unable to comprehend how their infallible strategies failed so spectacularly are going to witness you reach heights they never thought were conceivable because they failed to realize that you were never playing their game in the first place. You are always engaged in a longer, more complex game. A game in which achieving your goals and assisting others in achieving theirs, rather than beating them, is the ultimate triumph. The moment you finally had enough and took full control of your life was known as the snapping point. And it was more than just a change in yourself. It was a cosmic occurrence that sent shock waves through intangible dimensions. Reality itself shifted to fit your actual frequency when you snapped. The terms of engagement were essentially rewritten by the cosmos to make sure that your triumph was not only feasible but certain. Every aspect of your life is still affected by that pivotal time. It's as if a holy earthquake broke through all of the man-made barriers, ceilings, and limitations that were placed in your life. New connections, opportunities, and avenues that would not have been feasible under the previous paradigm are still being made conceivable by the aftershocks. Your adversaries believed that you were a person who would eventually lose it under duress. Rather, they saw someone who transcended to an entirely other plane of existence. Your victory's most impressive feature is that it was achieved without any concessions. To defeat them, you didn't have to become like them. You didn't have to follow their lead, emulate their vibes, or become like them. Elevation, not deprecation. Alignment, not manipulation. Sincerity, not pretense. That's what won you the victory. This makes their loss even more devastating because they are unable to use any of their typical defenses to explain away your achievement, accuse you of cheating, or claim you employed unfair techniques. This is what's keeping them up at night and what's making them so obsessed with their confusion. They believed they had developed an unbeatable method throughout the course of their existence. They based entire empires on the idea that anyone could be broken with enough pressure, manipulation of the situation, and control of the narrative. Their entire worldview was crushed by your win, not just their tactics. You demonstrated that there is a force in the cosmos that is stronger than their deception, more cunning than their plans, and more resilient than their fleeting triumphs. It's amazing how your triumph is causing authority to be completely re-examined. Scarcity, the idea that someone had to lose for someone to win, was the foundation of the previous paradigm. Your win indicates a whole new paradigm, one in which sharing victory expands rather than reduces it. More victories, not less, are made in the world for each individual you encourage to achieve their personal breakthrough. No one else loses anything because of your achievement. In fact, it increases everyone's opportunities. Your victory seems so different from traditional success because of this expansion impact. Conventional victories are frequently accompanied by a persistent sensation of emptiness, a now what feeling, or even remorse about outperforming others. The universe seems to be breathing a sigh of relief that you have finally taken possession of what was always yours, and your victory feels like coming home, like finally putting on a skin that fits flawlessly. You didn't take anything from anyone, therefore you don't feel guilty. Since your accomplishment is in line with the goal of your soul, there is no emptiness. Since this victory marks a new beginning rather than a finish, there is no now what. It's no accident that your breakthrough came at this time. The world is in critical need of real-life triumph stories, proof that one can achieve success without sacrificing one's soul, and proof that good can still defeat evil. Your triumph comes at just the right time for humanity to realize that there is another option. You're winning for more than just yourself. On behalf of everyone who still values honesty, morality, and genuine authority, you are winning. The fact that your victory looks to get stronger over time, instead of getting weaker, only serves to confuse your enemies. Most achievements reach their zenith before plateauing or declining. With every second that goes by, your victory seems to gain strength, reach a wider audience, and have a greater influence. Their triumphs don't operate like this. Usually fleeting, their wins need constant care, ongoing manipulation, and limitless energy to maintain. Because it is based on truth rather than lies, your victory is self-sustaining, naturally growing, and expanding. They've never seen anything like your victory, so they never thought about the legacy part of it. Because their success is based on external manipulation rather than interior development, it dies with them. Because it has brought about transformation at the soul level rather than just the contextual level, your victory will last longer than you do. You cannot remove the effects you have on future generations, the lives you have impacted, the patterns you have disrupted, the possibilities you have shown. Your victory celebration should therefore be commensurate with its importance. This goes beyond a simple victory for oneself that should be discreetly celebrated and then forgotten. This is a cosmic occurrence that merits cosmic acknowledgement. Through every breathtaking sunset, every happy coincidence, and every instance of impeccable timing that serves as a reminder that you are right where you should be, the cosmos itself is celebrating your victory. Money that you may have previously earned has a totally different vibe than the financial prosperity that is presently pouring into your life. This is hardly restitution for lost time or energy. This is the universe's method of righting the cosmic imbalance that happened each time you were neglected, underpaid, or undervalued, of giving you back what was always rightfully yours. The surplus isn't merely compensating for previous scarcity. You may benefit others in ways that were impossible when you were working from a place of lack, because you are producing overflow. This one has changed your relationship with money itself. Stress, rivalry, and compromise are no longer caused by money. It has evolved into a tool for spreading your influence, expressing your ideals, and enhancing the beauty of the planet. Because the universe knows that your victory has cleansed your motivations and brought your objectives into line with divine will, it trusts you to spend the riches wisely. The romantic relationships that are now entering your life are also changed. Need, desperation, or settling for less than you deserve are not the foundations of these relationships. These are soul-level relationships with those that cherish your genuine self, recognize your worth, and support your goal rather than oppose it. By claiming this win, you've learned to love yourself, and that love is proportionate to the love you're attracting now. Your work options are changing from earning a livelihood to changing the world, from jobs to callings, from careers to missions. Your current work doesn't feel like work because it's in perfect harmony with your soul's mission and your inherent talents. Glowing star yearning to witness God's miracles firsthand? Plant your spiritual seed now by contributing $100 or more through the YouTube Super Thanks button. Your offering lights the path for others and echoes through His divine plan, bringing His light into every step you take. Your goal is not to conform to someone else's idea of success. You're defining meaningful contribution in your own way. Thus, rejoice, selected one. Let's celebrate loudly. Celebrate with pride. Celebrate without prejudice or regret. The universe placed all the pieces in place, timed all the revelations, and prepared all the blessings that are now pouring into your life over the course many lifetimes. Not only is your win well earned, but it is also foretold. Once you truly embraced that truth and rediscovered who you were, it was exactly what was meant to happen. Confetti is dropping. The audience is applauding. As you proceed more into the championship life that was always yours, you can hear the sound of scratching, heads getting softer in the distance. Now, however, that confused sound has changed into something very else. It has evolved into the sound of respect, acknowledgement, and people realizing that they were facing someone acting in the cosmic favor and under the protection of God, rather than just any adversary. However, something else is taking place that your adversaries could not have foreseen, something that further complicates their uncertainty. Your triumph is encircling yourself with what can only be characterized as a magnetic field of success. You are being drawn to people, opportunities, resources, and blessings. Not because you're trying to find them, but because your aligned energy has turned into a beacon that draws in everything you require effortlessly. They function in the exact opposite way due to this magnetic property. They must hunt, plan, and coerce results. Everything you need finds you when you just live in your truth. Selected one. They're looking on in confusion as opportunities that they never would have thought of come up, and doors that they never even knew existed open up for you. Your adversaries are also struggling with the knowledge that they are no longer relevant as alternatives emerge that they never would have imagined. Their whole identity was based on being forces that needed to be resisted, issues that needed to be solved, and barriers in people's ways. They were neither defeated nor conquered, but your triumph went far beyond them. They weren't destroyed by you. You became too old to interact with them at all, being entirely irrelevant to your success, and not being viewed as a legitimate opponent is possibly the most damaging blow to their ego. Their confusion also stems from the pace at which your metamorphosis took place. They anticipated a protracted conflict in which they might progressively weaken you. Rather, your triumph occurred in what seemed like a split second. Everything changed at once the instant you truly embraced your truth. Even you may still be adjusting to your new reality because your entire life trajectory, including your financial status, relationships, and opportunities, changed so quickly. Their modifications are always steady, controlled, and carefully maintained, so this quantum leap effect challenges their idea of how change operates. At this point, your victory is solidifying into an enduring reality. The change is neither conditional nor transient. It's starting to become the new standard for your life. Your adversaries are constantly waiting for you to return to the real world and experience the same constraints and hardships as everyone else. But since you've actually advanced to a new level of existence where those previous restrictions don't apply to you, it will never occur. Since the goal of the race was never to reach a finish point, it is never truly over. It was about growing into the person you needed to be on the journey. Every stride you take now that you've transformed into that person is a victory lap in a game that you've already won, assisting others in crossing their own finish lines in a celebration that will last forever. Your life is changing more than simply your victory. It's altering reality itself, demonstrating that when a person who is completely in line with divine purpose chooses to cease playing small, the cosmos works together to make their victory legendary. 3.